I'm not a lizard, and this ain't a circus, but welcome to the BlueCast with me, Dictator Joe. The only person still insane enough to think that shows about YouTube are a good idea. So news. March Madness is coming to a close, and there still might be time for you to vote in the semifinals, depending on how soon Emperor Lemon decides to stop the voting. Right now, it looks like it's going to be Chief Dogging Food and Ostrock going at it in a super epic clash of the styles. And I am not even willing to take a guess at who's going to win that, because they are both amazing. Now, a fresh contest has also propped up. The third Poop Standoff. Bender Pictures is back and ready to attack as he introduces his contest for the third time. The original winner of the first installment was Sea Falcon 095. The second contest ended abruptly because Bender retired halfway through it, so there was no winner. And this time, well, it's up to you to decide, because voting started a few days ago. Hurry up! The contest features an awesome judging crew of one Super Chops, Orpheus for the win, and yours truly. Prominent YouTubers in the contest include, but are certainly not limited to, Master of Zork, Professor Cheeseball, the winner of the first YouTube March Madness, Super Spyro 3000, and believe it or not, all four of the current March Madness semi-finalists. And that's just to name a few of them. I'm going to have one hell of a time racking my brain to figure out who we have to get rid of in the later rounds. Also, this isn't really news, but Krobo claims he's working on a My Little Pony poop that's already 23 minutes long. That would be insane. Also, since I'm a rude dinner, I'm going to use these 30 seconds to tell you that I'm hosting a tennis thing on The Little Dragons. So yeah, there's not really much to say about that other than you should join it because I promise not to take a month to make each round. I'll also link collabs in the description because I've spent way too much time talking about news and we need to talk about news. So, here's the big news, my loyal dragon audience. I will no longer be uploading BlueCasts to this channel. Wait, hold on, you didn't let me finish. I'm relocating the BlueCast to a new channel. And what will this channel be for, you might ask? Well, you're either going to love it, or you hate it. Or you might not care at all. Honestly, I don't know. Let's set the scene, shall we? You are a new YouTuber. You just got Vegas or Premiere, and you're making all sorts of videos, and you're making friends in the community. But you have a problem. You want to watch a show about YouTube so that you can view it in a new way, or enjoy things that you might not otherwise be able to enjoy. However, upon exploring, you discover that there are only really 3 major shows about YouTube that are more than just a one-time thing. Those 3 shows are YouTube News, the BP Show, and the BlueCast. You think that Stuart K. Riley is a terrible, unfunny person, and you don't agree with anything he says. On the other hand, Joe is equally unfunny, and takes things way too seriously, and examines the most useless aspects of YouTube. Bender Pictures does seem like an easy choice, but since he hardly releases episodes of the BP Show anymore, it's not even worth it. You think of starting your own show, but then it hits you. You have about 100 subscribers. Only about 30 regular viewers in actuality. 10 of them only watch your YouTubes, 10 of them only watch your YTPMVs, and the last 10 are really only interested in your tennis matches. Ultimately, you have no idea how many of them would even be interested in your idea for a more balanced view of what's happening in YouTube. So rather than waste your time making something that no one will watch, you close the book on that idea, and you make a blood oath that you will never watch YouTube News, and you will always watch the BlueCast. Hear my voice and obey. Watch every episode of the BlueCast from the beginning. You close the book on that idea, and you decide to put up with it. Well, that seems stupid, doesn't it? Especially since the hypothetical YouTuber that you just were isn't the only person who's seeing things like this. Some people don't even care for the boring news and project-centered idea of a show that the 3 of us use. Well, let's take a leap of faith here. We'll say that if our new YouTuber friend made his show from his subscribers and new interested viewers, he'd get about probably 15 people watching regularly. But we're not sure if that will grow anytime soon. Now let's take 5 other people who are just like him and let them do their ideas for shows. They get about 15 people too. If we combine the audience together, and we'll say that about half of them are only interested in the show they found first, that's still a total of 45 viewers. And that's a lot of steam that could start rolling into an even bigger snowball. So, that's what I want to do, basically. I want to take a YouTuber who has an idea for a semi-regular show about this crazy genre, whether it be tennis, YTPMV, or some other thing that you can somehow think of that I can't, and tell him that his idea has a chance. And tell him that I'm willing to help him. And for his first episode, he'll, at the very least, have nearly my entire audience. As things go forward, more people get interested, the channel gets more shows, and the channel gets more viewers, and becomes a big, great thing. Now, I don't really think I have to answer this, but probably someone's going to ask this question, and if I don't answer it, I'll be the talk between you and your Skype friends who are the biggest fans of Joe the Blue Dragon in the worst possible way. You're wondering, why does the BlueCast even have to be included on this new project? You're clearly just trying to make the audience of the BlueCast larger. Now, before I even answer that, I want you to see my vision more clearly, because then you might not even want to ask that question. So let's say we get this channel rolling, and we have a bunch of shows, and 10 of them have been consistent with a bi-weekly schedule. So let's go through them, shall we? First Monday could be a YTPMV variety show. It shows off underrated YTPMVers, talk about upcoming events, tips, tricks, and occasionally has an interview with a big name YTPMVer. First Tuesday could be a YouTubepoop tutorial session. In this show, a YouTuber who knows his way around a bunch of tricks and editors will explain some neat things to spice up your videos. This show can explain what video editor is right for your skill set, and how to do certain complicated techniques like data moshing, or how to better use After Effects, or stuff like that. First Wednesday could be sort of a YouTubepoop game show. No, I don't have the slightest idea how that would work, but you guys are better than me, and you could come up with it easy. First Thursday could basically be a YouTubepoop history show. The host will go over an important event or person that changed YouTubepoop in hopes of creating a community more educated in how YouTubepoop became what it is today. First Friday could be the BlueCast. Second Monday could be a tennis variety show, sort of like the YTPMV one that I mentioned earlier. Second Tuesday could be a YouTubepoop show dedicated to underrated poopers and the promotion of their videos. This could be done by showing clips of their videos or possibly interviewing some of them. Second Wednesday could be dedicated to sources that are becoming more popular and sources that seem particularly easy to exploit through either of the three genres. It could also help promote collabs that use these sources. Second Thursday could be a show that reviews YouTupoops, YTPMVs, and tennis matches. I actually know that this idea got brought up like 1 or 2 years ago, but it was mostly for reviewing videos that the creators thought were bad, like Spadinner. But I think this could take on a positive concept, like reviewing good YouTupoops. Second Friday could be the hypothetical, balanced YouTubepoop talk show that I mentioned earlier. So in the large scale of things, how much of a role does the BlueCast really play in that? I still haven't answered the question though, so to be fair, why does the BlueCast need to be included? I've already made it clear that I don't really care about views or subscribers, and it's not a sure thing that this would even work, and I don't want the humiliation of having to move the show back to my channel if this doesn't work out. However, I would be willing to gamble with that humiliation if it meant that other people could have a chance to give their ideas a shot. The BlueCast would just be there so any potential show that would want to start on the network would already have my audience. Basically, I'm the great and powerful dictator Joe. I tell people, watch this vid, and they watch it. So I can help people get started. Although there are some perks for me to moving the separate channel specifically for shows. For starters, the episodes that I've been doing have been kind of random and follow a very loose generic format. There's a reason for this. I don't really feel a need to put a ton of effort into certain aspects of the show because I look at the other two shows and what they're doing, and I say to myself, yeah, I don't have to worry about them taking my audience. If I did this, there would be more than one YouTubepoop show, and some of them would seem better than others, and this healthy competition would drive all the shows to be better. I want to also start doing ideas for segments that I've had in my head for over a year now, and I think this shift would signal a good time to start. There are more benefits, but possibly the most terrible and nightmare-inducing one is this one. If I moved over to this official network type thing, I would feel compelled and motivated to give an actual effort towards making weekly episodes of the BlueCast. And you're probably ready to jump off a bridge, but hold on. Weekly episodes would mean that each episode would probably never go over 10 minutes. And it would mean that I would have to cover less news at a time, which is actually the hardest part for me of doing this. So I think I've talked about me enough, so let's talk about you, something we rarely do on this show. You probably have some idea in your head that you think would be fun for a show, and I want your idea. Not only that, I want you to make your idea, and I'll support it regardless of how stupid you might think it is. I'll do whatever it takes to get it to work. But here are some ground rules, and some unrules, if that makes any sense. The show should be about YouTubepoop, tennis, or YTPMV. This is a flexible rule, and I'm not one that argues that there's a super strict definition for any of these three things. The show does not have to be regular at all. Your first 2 episodes could be in July, and then you could not make another until December. I know that doing a show regularly is actually a lot harder than it sounds, so I'm never going to force you to be on any sort of a schedule. You'll have to send me episodes via Mediafire or some other hosting site. You can post it as unlisted to YouTube and then link it to me, but I don't really want that. I ask that you do not upload any episodes to YouTube that you send to the channel. Upload them publicly, that is. Which brings me to my next point, which is pretty obvious. You don't always have to use the channel to upload your show, but you're a free spirit and you know that already. If you want to use my channel to get a regular audience and then run off to do your own channel, then be my guest. I don't care. Have fun. Lastly, do what you want to do. This does not have to be a talk show like mine. Those are boring anyway. You don't have to even use a mic if you don't feel like it. The reason I love this idea so much is it just gives you guys a chance to do what you love, so that you can make the show the way you want it to be. I just really want to see what you guys can come up with for this. So yeah, that definitely took long enough. I don't even have time to explain my next project I'm working on, so I'll give you the shorthand. I'm going to be looking at how a YouTuber's style affects the way he thinks about YouTube, and how the person he is affects his style. It's going to be a multi-part thing, and I'm going to be starting the research now, and I need people to help me set up surveys and people to volunteer to take these surveys. I'll post more details to the forum on TLD, and I suppose I'll even hop by YouTube to explain it there. If you have taken a blood oath to never visit any of these sites, but somehow you're still watching the BlueCast all the way to the end, send me a personal message and I'll gladly explain it to you and how you can help. Okay, so that about wraps it up. Today we learned that Joe can take several minutes to explain a very simple concept, and we all took blood oaths. That seems to be the BlueCast in a nutshell now that I think about it. Oh wait, one last thing. I'll be using one of my old channels to host the show. I'm going to be using the whole name-changing thing that the Google Plus implemented onto our channels, so that I can give the channel a more fitting name for what we're really doing. So I want you guys to help me pick the name. To be honest, I already have an idea. You might not like it, but I really want the name to be Lizard Circus. I know it sounds so stupid, but I've mentioned that nonsensical, fictional place in every BlueCast that I have ever made, and I think it would be fitting for it to be the name. If you have any other ideas, you can tell me in the comments. I'll see you next time, but it won't be here.